but everybody else does it. I'm not the only one who does it. Hey, I'm Marcus Guiliano, international business speaker, business author, Forbes Business Council contributor, restaurant coach, and fellow restaurant owner. Don't you hate it when your employees, you catch one person doing something wrong and the first thing they say is, well, everybody else does it. I'm not the only one. Why am I the only one being singled out? Why am I the only one getting reprimanded, getting written up, getting fired? Why am I the only one when everybody else is doing it? Sounds like kids, right? So we have that happen. I have that happen like every other restaurant owner, like every other organization. It happens, and people just aren't willing to take responsibility. So how do I handle that? Well, I've always told cooks when they walk in the kitchen, I said, listen, if the morning guy preps your asparagus, let's just say asparagus, and he over blanches it, and then you're going to serve it at night, you can't blame the morning guy. It's your responsibility because you're the person serving it, right? So I teach my staff to take 100% responsibility for what they're doing, what they're serving, without playing the blame game. There's zero. I tell my staff up front, you do not play the blame game here. You don't use the line. Everybody else does it. If I'm talking to you, it's about you. And if you want to be successful here or successful in life, learn to start taking 100% responsibility for your actions. By them, by an employee, blaming and saying, well, other people do it too. See, they're not taking responsibility for that. It's a cop-out. They did it. I was reading online. This is why this video was inspired. I was reading online in one of the Facebook groups how one of the restaurant owners said, was it too harsh for me to suspend somebody for a week or so when she was smoking pot and drinking a beer on her break? Was I too harsh? Because she said everybody else does it as well. And I'm like, man, oh man, who cares who else does it? You're talking to that person at that moment. And it's 100% responsibility. When something happens in my life, in my business, in my restaurant, whatever, I've learned, it took me a while, I've learned to take 100% responsibility, because once you take responsibility, you have control. And I explain it to my staff, take control. Once you have responsibility, take control. So for example, the person that says, well, everybody else is smoking pot and drinking on their break, for them, nothing's going to change, right? But if they take responsibility and say, you know what, I was wrong and I have the power to change it and it's in my control and that won't happen again, then there you go. You've taken control once you've taken responsibility. Same thing with the cook at night who's serving the asparagus that the morning prep cook overcooked. You know, step up and say to the chef, hey man, this is overcooked, man. I gotta do something. It's on my station. This is what I was left. But I know that it's bad. I gotta do something. We gotta do something here. I don't know of any chef who wouldn't say, yeah, all hands on deck, let's get more asparagus. But if you're in the middle of service serving crap asparagus, and you know, some restaurants don't have to deal with this because there's a small kitchen, but I've worked at places like the Greenbrier and the Broadmoor in Broadmoor in Colorado and the Greenbrier in West Virginia. And there's 150 cooks in that kitchen at the Greenbrier. And there's literally a staff of like 5-6 guys in the morning doing nothing but prep veg for night. They're just prepping veg for the night, for the dinner service. And if some guy, some apprentice, some young cook overcooks the broccoli that morning, blanches and over blanches it, it's got to be redone. The chef was like, no, you're the one serving it. Step up to the plate and don't serve crap, all right? So step up to the plate and don't go smoke pot and drink just because everybody else is doing it. You be your own person, you take responsibility, and you step your game up and take the control back. That's the bottom line. So I explain to my staff in these situations because it's like kids sometimes, like babysitting. I'm not talking about anybody else. Take responsibility and let's rock this out. Come on. So, and you know what? This person wasn't too harsh to suspend. I would have actually terminated this person, and it's in policies. I have policies and no drinking alcohol. So when you talk about policies in your handbook, each section needs to be a separate policy they sign off on. We have these policies in place that, hey, you're not supposed to drink. If you're caught drinking under the influence, you will get terminated. Lay it out. You will get terminated. There's a 0 policy. There's a 2 warning policy on whatever. You have a 3 strike rule on being late. If anybody ever appeals you for unemployment, which that's happened to me a couple times, and you go through this whole hearing and everything, it's a pain in the ass. But the judge wants to see, the person who's conducting the hearing from the state wants to know that it's written down in there. Because if you didn't write down, believe it or not, if you didn't write down that being under the influence of a drug or an alcohol is grounds for dismissal in their first round, and you fired him and you didn't give him a warning, you fired him first round, but it doesn't say that in the first round, you could lose that case. It's crazy how you have to have everything documented. And I've learned this by going through this. And I luckily have had everything documented. So every trial or hearing I've been to for people fighting me on unemployment, I've won all of them. I've won all of them because I have it documented. It saves you so much time. But I think that person should have been terminated right from the get-go. You're admitting you get caught or whatever. Who cares? Who cares what everybody else is doing? All right, that's the bottom line. And you got to treat your staff like that. Who cares? Who cares? I will talk to them. We're talking about me and you. Because I had a cook one time that would blame everybody for everything. And one night he said to me, I said, you left the grill on last night. Like the grill was left on. He has a checklist. And he goes, I didn't do it. I go, what do you mean you didn't do it? He was the last person on. He goes, the waiters come in here and cook after I leave. And I said, the waiters come in here and cook after you leave? He goes, yeah, they come in here and cook. I said, they don't come in here and start cooking away. I said, the normal policy is if there's people still in the dining room, you keep the pizza oven on or the dessert oven because that's how we know if they have a brownie or something that's going to go oven, but then they turn off. I said, first of all, the pipe lights don't even work on the grill. So you have to stick a lighter down in there and they don't know how to do that. And second of all, we're talking about you. I'm talking about what you did, not about what they did. So don't blame anybody else. Own up to what you did. I said, just own up to what you did because you did it. Because this is the sequence of events, and you have a checklist, and you did it. So just step up to the plate that you did. And he had a hard time on taking responsibility. He just wanted to blame everybody else. That wasn't me. I don't do that. I don't do it. Every time I ever spoke to him about something, I don't do that. That's not me. Oh, you know me. I don't. But I do know him, and it was him. And I had to straighten him out every time. He didn't last long because I don't put up with that, and nobody should have to put up with that. So take control of your staff, take control of the blame game, and set the policy so everybody learns, and set an example. Everybody, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and